Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Maddles and this is another StarCraft 2 England cast. Now today I have got game 1 of a best of 5, it's from the Zotac Cup and it is between TSLSymbol, the red Zerg player in the top right, and AcerNerchio, the blue Zerg in the lower left. That means this is a ZvZ, so guys, if you like the excitement, the thrill, and generally the craziness that occurs with the ZvZ game, then buckle up because this is game 1 of what could potentially be 5. So I'm super looking forward to this. Now, obviously, these two players are very, very good. Nerchio is ranked really high as one of the best foreign players. Obviously, Symbol, absolutely great. We do have the map as Daybreak. Now, everyone loves Daybreak. I mean, I don't think I've ever found anyone who doesn't like it because it's just so well balanced. Everything's really sweet on it. You've got an expansion, not too difficult to take, but not completely free. You've got this nice little bit of rocks. You've got third base, which is quite natural to progress onto, but it's quite difficult to hold because it's a big open area, so you can't completely wall off. Your fourth is quite easy to take. Your fifth as well, not too bad. You've got these center rocks. The watchtowers are in good positions, and generally, everything is just lovely. Literally, if this map was in Diablo 3 and it was the secret pony and unicorn level with hearts floating around, this is what this map would be. It is that good and people love it that much. So what can we expect in terms of strategy? Well, so far neither player has built anything other than drones, which is just one of many potential openings for ZvZ. At high levels you tend to see hatch firsts, or at least later pulls. You don't that often see early pulls, specifically pulls before an overlord, because that can be a bit all-in-ish, but we do have already the first variation in build, and this is what I love about ZvZ, is variations in build can come very, very early. So we have the pull first by Symbol compared to the hatch first of Nerchio, and really that is going to be very, very influential in how it goes. Now, the key difference here is obviously the production capability of Nurture will be slightly higher sooner, but there will be a period where actually Symbol has a better production capability because he'll have that queen out. He'll get those 4 additional lava from the lava inject slightly quicker. He's starting up his own hatchery now, and therefore it balances out pretty evenly in my opinion. Hatch first compared to pull first at a similar timing. There's pros and cons to both, but it's not huge in either way as far as I'm concerned. Now, we do have Nerchio going down for that gas. No gas yet for Symbol. That is again another variation in the build. It'll be interesting to see what that first gas is used for, because obviously one potential issue is whether you go for Zergling speed first, which is preferred by a lot of players, or perhaps you can actually go and use your first 50 gas to get a Baneling nest. That is of course giving you in a very defensive position, ready to deal with a lot of Zergling aggression early on. And of course on a map like Daybreak, neither of these players really know too much about what's going on. I mean, obviously we do have here Symbol with some good information from that overlord, but really aside from knowing that that base is down, Nerchio is well, he doesn't have too much knowledge, to be honest. He just knows that's there. So obviously there are variations of what you can do if you've gone for that hatch first. You can actually cut drone production completely, have your gas already up, have speed out, and basically fake this expansion. Or it's not really faking it, but don't mind for me, just make lots and lots of Zerglings, and that is why you see some people go for that Baneling nest first as opposed to speed. But speed is the choice for Nerchio. No gas yet at all for Symbol, so where do you acquire late spot? That queen is going back there to check for any overlords. You can have an overlord up there, and obviously over here is a good spot as well, and that is precisely where we've got Symbol putting his overlord just around to the side here, keeping an eye on the gas timings. He's got another overlord at the back, and again another interesting spot to chuck an overlord down at. Now, just taking a look around, we do have still 2 drones in gas, the Baneling nest on its way down now, so Ling Bling phase is already in, and this is really a lot of what I like to think about ZvZ, is that you have the Zergling phase, you then have the Ling Bling phase, then Roach plus something. That is generally the way the games play out. I mean, the Roach plus something tends to be Roach Hydra or Roach Infest. A mute play is a possibility, but I don't think we'll be seeing that because neither player has invested heavily in gas. Usually would have already have seen quite a bit of gas go down, because obviously you're getting 2 base 4 gases to get those muters out, and you chuck down a whole load of spine crawlers in order to defend that. Now we do have quite a few spine crawlers already out from Symbol. He's getting that second one in the back position, now getting up his 2 gases, but not in his main base, it is natural. That's quite interesting because, again, if Nerchio doesn't manage to come and scout into the main base, he may assume that Symbol has got all 4 of his gas up, and again, that would suggest to him that perhaps it's going to be some kind of 2-base muter play. These Zerglings coming across the map, they're going to be very, very powerful, assuming they can get in, especially as, at the moment, Symbol doesn't have, as far as I can see, any kind of Baneling nest So again, he's going to be defending us purely with Zerglings and those Spine Crawlers. A third Spine Crawler already in production right there. So that's pretty good for these Zerglings. They have managed to get into the middle line. Whole command being used very, very effectively, trying to pick up as many as possible. Just trying to get a couple of drone kills, but so far not that many. 4 were killed. These Zerglings are now trapped as well. There's a lot of queens down there, and as you can see, quite a bit of damage being done, but those Zerglings are being effectively used, trying to pick up as many drones as possible. But still, only 6 taken down. If we look at the worker count, Nerchio is far ahead now, about 5 workers ahead. That's a great spot. He's also getting up his lair, he's getting up his second gas. The third and fourth gas on their way out for Symbol. The creep spread for Symbol a lot better. There's no creep humans down at all yet for Nerchio. And creep in ZvZ is debatable. The third base just started as well there for Nerchio, so he's in a great spot. The double Evo chamber down for Symbol as well as the Roach one. No upgrades started yet though, so that's quite interesting. We'll see when and if he starts those upgrades. Obviously, by getting the double Evo, you want to start them quite quickly in order to get maximum effect out of it. But it looks like it's going to be a heavily upgraded Roach type strategy. And Symbol should start his upgrade soon because he's nearly gone off gas. Nerchio getting up that Spire, so this is going to be some Mutalisks on the field. There goes the double upgrades for Symbol, but the problem with Roaches is they are very vulnerable until you get up to a critical mass. They're vulnerable to a lot of Zerglings, and that is purely because the Zerglings against a big group of Roaches don't engage too well because they physically don't have the Roaches in the centre don't get attacked, but if there's only a few Roaches, the Zerglings get good surface area. Queen does get picked off there. Absolutely brilliant play, not losing too much. If we look at the loss tab, pretty even. Symbol just falling a slight bit behind there from losing the Queen, but luckily still has 2 more at each base. This third base will be forced to cancel though. There's no way that Symbol is going to be able to save that, and the cancel doesn't go down. That in itself is a bit of a slip up. You never want to not cancel an expansion if it gets attacked at that stage. The Spine nearly up to Nerchio, and obviously we have Symbol getting his lair up as well as the 1-1 upgrades being half done. But for the moment there's nothing that can really attack up for Symbol, so if those Mutas do hit, it's going to be a good time. The only downside to going Mutalisks, of course, is that if your opponent gets an awful lot of Roaches, he can just come and kill you. Literally 1A over to your base, and unless you have an awful lot of Spine Crawlers and a great defense, those Mutas don't engage head-to-head well enough. A cancel is forced again, and of course these Zerglings just absolutely going to town. All the Roaches out of position. Roach speed I don't believe is done yet, so those Zerglings have just got all the time in the world, picking off the creep tumors as well, denying that creep spread, denying the 2 bases getting joined up, and that Spine Crawler will have to move. Otherwise they will slowly and painfully die once all that creep recedes. But there is great use for Symbol spreading the creep so it doesn't have to move that Spine Crawler. Some spores coming out for Symbol at the moment. I don't know where he spotted those Mutalisks quite yet, but there would have been something. An Overlord was picked off there. That is what it was, and well, obviously this is exactly what Symbol's doing right. He's going, well, if you've got Mutas, I can probably just come and try and kill you, because you can't engage me head on. This also buys him time to get those Spore Crawlers down in order to defend, but these Mutas, if nothing else, should be able to pick off a couple of Overlords. Of course, quite a lot of Overlords built down here, but there are 2 Spores on their way down, so will the Mutas hit in time? Notice not an overcommitment to Mutalisk so far, only 8 on the field. That's a good move in itself. You see a lot of Zerg players overcommit, but behind this, Nerchio is droning up. He's getting the Roach upgrades for speed and also the +1, but the 1-1 upgrades already finished for Symbol's Roaches. Those Mutas are pretty much shut down until these Zerglings do manage to get in. If they pick off those 4 Crawlers, which they very could do, then obviously these 4 Overlords will go down. There's nothing that could happen there. The Spore Crawler taken down now, and of course all of these Overlords are very vulnerable until of course the Queens come over. But 2 Overlords do get picked up. A great transfuse on an Overlord. Obviously losing an Overlord is 100 minerals, and it also means that you could potentially be supply blocked and also lose obviously a lava. Now that doesn't matter too much. Obviously these Roaches do have to be careful, these Overlords have to be careful as well. So you have a Spore Crawler moving, those 2 Queens are coming in, picking up quite a few Mutas. The transfuse yet again going off on those Overlords. But the Zerglings, they're coming in, they're getting a good shot on the Queen. Another Overlord will get picked off potentially. There he goes, and that does supply block Symbol. That is incredibly annoying for the moment. Nerchio seems to be in a very good spot. Infestors are out though for Symbol. That is a great point. So are those Hydras. So that is really the mid to late game army composition that Symbol wants. Infestor, Hydra, Roach, or Roach, Infestor, Hydra is probably much more accurate in terms of the priorities. That will give him a lot of firepower from the Hydras. The Infestors will allow him to really cut down Nerchio's mobility and allow him to engage effectively. Obviously, fungal growth against a group of Mutalisks can be devastating, and if you throw Mutalisks in as Hydralisks in as well, sorry, then the damage is huge. Now, You have a fourth base on its way out. The worker count pretty equal. Both players do have their third bases up and running now. Nerchio does have more army supply, but then if we look, he's got a lot of infestors coming out, he's got a lot of roaches, and the upgrade advantage will be there for Symbol, at least in the short term. And I mean, well, it's quite a big upgrade advantage. It's going to be 2-2 compared to 2-1, and actually it's going to be 2-2 compared to 0-1 for quite a while. We do have group spine coming out for Symbol, the +1 carapace upgrade on its way. Meanwhile, we've got an awful lot of roaches here for Symbol. Now, the supply counts, don't worry too much about those, because obviously the work count is ahead now for Symbol. He's up to that sort of endgame critical mass. The fourth base, though, will be very helpful for Nerchio in order to keep up with that economy. Needs to get a couple more drones, though. Another wave of drones would be brilliant. But obviously, all while Symbol is droning, he will be slightly behind in army supply for a while, although leveling it up very, very quickly. The infestor count is always important. It is 9-7 in Nerchio's favour. The roach count, though, hugely in Nerchio's favour, and only a handful of Hydralisks really swinging the banner in Symbol's favour. Now, obviously, Symbol attempting to take the fourth base in the centre, but there's just so many roaches there. Great attack angle. The fungus growth absolutely perfect. Chain fungus coming off from both players here. This engagement could very well win or lose the game for either player. But to be honest, with those infestors down, with all of the roaches and army cleaned up, there's just too many roaches out for Nerchio. Great use of infested turns to soak up some damage from the roaches at the moment, give out additional DPS. And this is looking very, very good for Nerchio. Symbol is going to have an incredibly tough time defending this. He has got 19 roaches on the way out. A handful of infestors and hydras there as well. But with massive infested terrans coming down, and well, to be honest, I don't see how Symbol could defend this. He's just got so many units there for Nerchio, and to be honest, I don't think he's going to be able to get enough out in time, and even if he does stop it, he could take an awful lot of losses. The important thing, though, is to make sure that Nerchio doesn't overcommit. The roach numbers are getting a lot lower, but reinforcements are streaming across the map as we speak. Those infestors do need to run away. Those infested terrans behind, that should help pick things off. And, well, the upgrade advantage massively, massively helping right now. It's 2-2 to 1-0 in Symbol's favour, and that is allowing him to really dominate this engagement. And he has got a great attack angle here, far better than Nerchio had for quite a long time, and that is really allowing him to dominate. We do have some infested terrans getting locked off. Obviously, all of those infestors are very low on energy, but still Nerchio just seems to have just a few too many units on the field, and this is just so close right now. But the additional reinforcements from Symbol could be enough to hold it, but the +2 missile attack and +1 armor comes in. That levels up the upgrade difference quite substantially, and that really will be who has more stuff. Those infested terrans helping so substantially, and still Nerchio just keeps going for this natural base, aiming for the Roachron. If the Roachron goes down, as it just fell, then Symbol is going to have such a tough time. He's no longer got roaches, which means he's going to really have to focus on getting Hydras and Zerglings, neither of which are going to be ideal for him. And I really feel that looking at this engagement now, Nerchio just has too much stuff. Those infested terrans coming in to help as well. And, well, I think this should all now be over. Nerchio just pulling ahead. He's got 11 more roaches on the way. Barry's about to finish as well. There is the GG from Symbol. And game 1 does indeed go to Nerchio with what was a really hectic final engagement, but a great defense by Symbol. So, guys, that was game 1. Please comment, thumbs up, and subscribe. That would be awesome. And, well, flick over to my channel, and I'll see you at game 2 any second. I'm Mados, and this was SC2 England Cast. See you in a sec.